obviously you've come through to us with a particular problem that you wanted to discuss. So do you want to tell me about the problem a little bit so I get a bit of an understanding of what's going on?
I'm a hoarder.
You're a hoarder?
A hoarder, and I find it difficult to get rid of some things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how long has this been happening for you?
I suppose my whole life I've been a hoarder to some extent, because I have always tried to keep the things that are important to me. Now that I'm older, it just seems to be more things that are important to me, but it's more for the sake of more mementos rather than stuff.
Right. Okay. So how is this becoming a problem for you? Is it because of more room, or is it because why is this a problem for you?
For me, I'd like to be able to let go of it, to let go of stuff. Partly for the room, but more so that I am able to get rid of stuff without being too attached to it, so that if someone asks me to get rid of stuff, I don't get frustrated or annoyed or upset by it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it causes you frustration if you have to let go of things.
Yes.
Or it causes you to be annoyed.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, are there any particular feelings or thoughts attached to you hoarding these things, or when you're keeping hold of these things, or having to let go?
I think with me, it's more the stuff that I have are kind of mementos, they're kind of things of a moment in time, and I'll never get that moment in time back. So keeping them is kind of like keeping that moment, or that how I felt that way, alive.
Okay.
But then things change and people change, and having to get rid or delete or shred or get rid of is hard, because you'll never get that moment back again.
Right. Okay.
So I think that's really more than the room and stuff.
So it's about wanting to keep hold of the memories, really.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. In their physical form rather than just.
I think I think the problem with your memory is that your memory distorts with time.
Okay.
And you kind of put more of an onus onto what happened, in stuff, what happened with your interactions with people kind of gets twisted with time.
Okay.
And as people change, you just think, that's different to how they were, but having the physical memories means that you can go back and look and kind of assess whether or not they have changed, or if it's you, because because some of it is for me really, because I change a lot in my physical sense, because I'm losing weight, or I'm trying to. So I think it's possibly more to do with not stopping change or not ceasing change, but more to kind of assess how things change and things like that, really. It probably is a bit more to it than I think, but then sometimes problems start off as a little thing, and then you see what's important to the rest of the stuff, really.
Right. So you're getting an idea that there may be more to holding on to these things than.
Yeah, I'm sure there is more to hold on to, really, but then when you kind of look at it, what kind of issues that you have, that is one. It has been commented on by people, friends, and my husband, and other things, like other people in my life, my family and stuff. I think And I think when people feel the need to comment, then there's an issue.
Okay. So I suppose as far as today's session is concerned, perhaps if we focus on those feelings of frustration that you get if you have to get rid of things, how you feel annoyed and things like that. If we look at the concept of mindfulness, I think that's the one we're going to talk about today. Just want to introduce the concept to you, so it may be another technique in your toolbox that you can use to deal with situations that you find frustrating, annoying, or other situations, other emotional problems that you may have in future. Yeah. So mindfulness basically is a concept that came from the Buddhist type approach, where the idea is about just being aware of what is going on for you, being aware of what this frustration is about, being aware of how it's making you feel within your body, looking at the senses in your body, how is that making you feel? So when you become aware of those senses, when you become aware of the thoughts, the sensations that you have, the feelings, the emotions, you then be able to identify each and every one of them, so that you can just be aware of it. So it's more like, imagine standing at a bus stop and just watching cars pass, and not chasing any of them, obviously. So in a way, it's kind of what we do. We tend to get a thought that comes through our mind, and then we try and chase the thought, or try and hold on to the thought. And before we know it, we've got numerous thoughts that we are chasing, and we kind of all over the place. Does that make sense? Yeah. So ideally, then, what this concept tries to do is to get you to be more aware. Just that awareness of what's going on. Just watch the thoughts go by. Just watch the emotions go by. Just be aware of them. And as you notice, you then realize some things just pass. Some things are not there to be made any sense of. They're just there because they're passing, you know. So there are passing emotions, there are passing thoughts. So we're not being overly concerned about what they mean. So you're just observing them, just being aware of them without labeling them, without judging them, without judging yourself over them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So ultimately, what you then be able to do, when you need to get rid of something, you then be aware that, there is that frustration, but it's just a passing thought. I don't have to hold on to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So as we're talking about it, are you having any thoughts about what it might feel like to let go of something that you've been holding on to?
I think it is more frustrating to me than I think it is to anybody else.
Of course.
So I kind of think, so when it comes to that, it's something that's my thought, it's nobody else's.
Yeah,
so
we're talking about your thoughts here.
Yeah.
We're not talking about anybody else's. We're not going to be aware of anybody else's thoughts.
No.
So it's your thoughts that you're just acknowledging that I have these thoughts about getting rid of things, and I have these thoughts about letting go.
Yeah.
So just being aware of those thoughts being there without judging them, without labeling them in any way, without applying any meaning, just just be aware that they're there
Yeah.
and they're passing.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can relate. It's a bit like when you want something to eat and then an hour later you forget that you actually wanted that to eat. You know, it's it's a passing thought. I fancy this, and then you know, if you carry on going or have a drink or something, then you don't want it after a while. So
and sometimes it's about just delaying that urge that's coming to you.
Yeah.
I want a drink. I've just finished a drink. I might feel like I want another one, but just being able to observe that feeling that I want something and just delay it, or maybe just let it pass.
Yeah.
And eventually, when maybe your next meal, it's time for your next meal, you then get up and make the meal. But for now, just being aware that I have that thought, or I have that emotion, or I have the sensation that I'm aware is there, and I don't have to chase it. I don't have to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm just in the moment.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm just in the moment. I am not doing anything. I am not rushing to get anything done. I am just observing what's going on, just being aware of what's happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, according to the concepts, basically, when you become aware of things passing, you then get to a point where it doesn't bother you anymore just to watch things go by, whereas previously you would have been running around trying to fix this, trying to make sense of this, trying to respond to that. So sometimes it's just being at peace with things happening around you, and not necessarily having anything distracting you or making background noises, but just paying attention to what's going on in your body. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah.
So what we're going to just talk about, obviously having talked about that, the next thing would be to practice that a few times whenever you're in a particular space and you start to feel any particular feeling, or you start to have any particular thought. You can just be in a space where you're just at peace and just observing that.
Okay.
Yeah? And then perhaps in the next session we'll look at that again, see how it's felt for you, and perhaps we can then start to practice that a little bit more if it's working for you.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
That sounds lovely, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, Jen, it's been great. I hope you'll be able to enjoy utilising the mindfulness technique.
Thank you.
And then we'll meet again next week.
Yeah, sounds lovely, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Right. Take care.
Okay, bye.